Well, my two main concerns about trade policy and the way that it's been conducted really since NAFTA came into effect at the start of 1994 are one, that the growth of the U.S. trade deficit in real terms during this current very feeble economic recovery has sliced about 20% off of cumulative U.S. growth during that expansion. That's about $420 billion worth of lost growth adjusted for inflation, and that's a lot of jobs also. And my second concern has to do with the return of the very same kinds of global economic imbalances that set the stage during the previous decade for that horrendous financial crisis that we all suffered through. And I was very deeply concerned that had Hillary Clinton won, she would have, despite various campaign gestures and statements to the contrary, placed U.S. trade policy right on the same course, or I should say right back on the same course of seeking the kinds of trade agreements that inevitably fuel those enormous imbalances.
Alan, I don't want to oversimplify the trade debate, but even in its best case, is it not a zero-sum game in that if you put up tariffs and barriers, what you're going to be doing is shifting the benefit from the consumers who want cheap products, or variety of products and cheap products like iPhones being manufactured in China, and shifting the benefit to the workers who are then going to get jobs back. But in a real free market world, they shouldn't really have those jobs.
One problem with that statement is that we really don't live in a real free market world. In fact, we live in a world where countries large and small, rich and poor, interfere with trade flows all the time, and with a special eye toward attracting the highest value production and employment into their borders. And I don't see why the United States can't and shouldn't do exactly the same thing. The second problem that I have with that statement reflects the fact that however beneficial low consumer prices are, gainful employment with what we might call family level wages are even more important, because if you're not earning enough income to finance your consumption responsibly, you're led into greater reliance on debt. And we should have learned during the previous decade, during the run-up to that financial crisis, that excessive reliance on debt-fueled consumption leads to very serious trouble that we should all want to avoid again.